Hey everyone, Christian Bates with Longevity Power. For years now at our YouTube channel, Irresistible Health, I've been making edited videos that take hours and hours to make. And I've decided, starting with this video, that I'm going to make more unedited videos, more candid, how-to, quick vlog-style videos, and make them more often. So we're going to start with this amazing elixir, and I'm going to come up with the name right now. I make variations of this elixir every day, and today we're going to call this the Espressoccino elixir. Yeah, you heard that right. It's going to be a Espressoccino elixir, because Frappuccino, I think, is trademarked. And we're going to start with 3 cups of tap water? No, spring water. And this is just already an amazing elixir to hydrate. This is going to be a hydrating elixir with lots of medicinal actions. It's caffeine-free, but tastes like your favorite Frappuccino. You know, I never got addicted to the caffeine side of coffee, but I loved the coffee flavor, that acidity and that dark roasted flavor. And we're going to use other ingredients that give a strikingly similar flavor, but instead of stimulating you with caffeine, it's going to deeply nourish you and pick you up in a sustainable way where you're not going to have the 2:30 p.m. crash anymore, especially if you have this in the morning. It's just going to carry you through. You can sip on this elixir all day long. Now we want to start with, we'll just go down the line like this. I'm going to start with a coffee substitute. Now you don't even have to use a coffee substitute because our other ingredients are also coffee flavored coffee substitute / herbs and superfoods. But just to really give it that nice, sweet, creamy, dark flavor, we're going to start with Pero blend. There's also Dandy blend. There's a few other blends, and most of them are actually really high quality, as long as they're pure extract, roasted grain and roasted root extracts. Let's just do about a tablespoon in 3 cups of spring water. And moving on down, we have a couple types of shilajit. Both are really great. We have the Omika brand, which is it's very strong. It's more potent of a shilajit. Some people think it's too strong in terms of flavor. I personally love the flavor, but it is extremely sulfuric. And then we have this Ogio brand, which is lighter, a little bit sweeter. Both taste like coffee. And I tell you what, for today, we'll use a tiny bit of each. We'll do 1/4 teaspoon of the Omika because it is very strong. It's like some kind of 40-to-1 extract, something ridiculous like that. And then we'll do this shilajit. We'll do 3/4 teaspoon or so. And shilajit is a powerful detoxifier. These are extract powders of shilajit. Shilajit is this resin that oozes out of rock formations in the Himalayan areas, and it's really rich in fulvic acid and humic acids. It's basically nearly fossilized plant matter from ages and ages ago, and it's extremely healthy and has been used for thousands of years in Ayurvedic Indian traditions. Next down the line, my product, Mushroom Immunity. 34 medicinal mushroom concentrates in one. Very powerful stuff. Tastes much more like coffee than it does miso shroomy flavor. There's a tiny bit of mushroom flavor that is noticeable, but for the most part, it's very Java-like. And our dog Java is over there, and he just turned his head a little bit when I said Java. And it is really rich in chaga mushroom and reishi mushroom, which don't taste like shrooms. You know, they taste like not like mushrooms. They taste like these exotic dark rooty herbs. Half this formula is chaga and reishi, including reishi spores, which are considered one of the most immunological substances ever. Reishi and chaga are the most studied medicinal mushrooms. Reishi is often considered the most studied herb of all time scientifically over the last several decades, and also there's a huge history of usage and passing down after generation for thousands of years from the traditional Chinese medicine tradition, although reishi occurs in other areas around the world, as well as relatives of reishi are occurring in North America and in Europe for sure. So we're going to just do a teaspoon. Teaspoon is the dosage. There are 24 species of medicinal mushrooms in this, so we are hitting our immune system from multiple different angles. We're giving ourselves so many different adaptogens in a synergy so that we have the wherewithal to handle stress, so that we have the nutrition to handle toxicity better and to make sure that our detoxification pathways are opened up. Shilajit and medicinal mushrooms, man, you have such a great detoxification combination there. Detoxification is mainly done with 3 avenues. One is just like water detoxification, just cleansing through juices and through elixirs. Second way is through replacing bad fats in the body, because bad fats, or any fat, is where most toxins, heavy metals, petroleum, and plastics are stored in your body. So by taking in good fats, we displace the old bad fats and help detoxify all those toxins that just get right into our fat tissue and our nervous system tissue. And then third avenue for detoxification really has to do with our immune system. If our immune system is suppressed, if there's a foothold of viruses and bacteria and fungus, yeast, mold, and critters, then those areas are going to be inflamed, and those guests are going to be pooping. They're going to be toxifying you, so that you have more trouble detoxifying. So the more we can make our immune system resilient, the more we can detoxify and feel amazing all day long. Next, we're going for Maca Bliss, because we want to give a little bit of yang perk to this Espressoccino. This is it's not a stimulant, maca, but it is more on the pushing, energizing fashion. Medicinal mushrooms and shilajit are energizing, but maca just gives you a little more like you want to go out and do stuff kind of energy, rather than just the deep contemplative meditation and mental acuity energy. Our Maca Bliss is black maca extract. So not only is it maca, which is great, but is black maca, which is the most potent phenotype or color of maca, and it's an extract, 10-to-1 extract. That means 1 teaspoon of this is worth 10 teaspoons of a raw black maca powder. So it's multiplied in potency in many ways. We use a dual extraction method where we use both pure water and alcohol, so we just get all the macamides and machenes and all those scientifically proven hormone balancing adaptogenic molecules that are found in the high elevation grown maca. Next is a little bit of sea salt, unrefined sea salt. I like a good amount of sea salt, so I'm putting at least a 1/4 teaspoon in this. You could use a little less if you want. And I'm going to just blend this up. Ready? Go. Boom. Okay. We just blended this up lightly for about 15 seconds, and I blended this before our last 2 ingredients for a specific couple of reasons. One of our last ingredients is stevia. My favorite brand of stevia extract is the Cal brand, K-A-L. It has the most mellow flavor in my opinion, and I have a stevia tolerance, so if you want to use less stevia or use another wholesome sweetener, then by all means just change it up, have fun, whatever works for you. The stevia is great because it's 0 glycemic and it is very sweet, so it's going to balance the bitters and the mushrooms and a lot of these dark powders. I'm going to just do about a 1/4 teaspoon, maybe a little bit more for myself. You could also mix and match. You could use a little bit of stevia and then a little bit of Jerusalem artichoke syrup or honey. Honey, you might have to blend it longer in cold water. If you chose to make a warm, or starting with hot water, not super hot because it is plastic here, BPA-free plastic, to make a hot coffee, espressoccino kind of a thing, then by all means do it hot. I have a little bit of an affinity for super ice cold things myself. I run warm in my constitution, so if you're someone who kind of has a tendency towards being warm all the time, maybe excessive yang, oily skin, any kind of stuff like that, which I had in the past, and I'm much more balanced these days, but I definitely came from like oily skin, acne kind of you know, that hyper warming constitution. So still, I love cool, ice-cold drinks for myself. If you're someone who gets cold easily, it's time to make the hot version of this drink. And ice cubes. I'm going to not blend the ice cubes all the way, because most of the time when you buy like a frappuccino thingamajig from some kind of Starbucks-like location, then they usually have like small ice cubes, and that's kind of what I want. Is to just have a little bit of ice cubes in there. It's just part of the nostalgia of that. We're actually not trying to make coffee. We're trying to make something that we already like that happens to taste like coffee. You know, the reason we like coffee's flavor, coffee is like the biggest thing ever, right? Like it's the biggest, #1 drug slash physiological slash psychological stimulating herb in the world, and most people really love that stimulation. But most people also really have an affinity for the ceremony and the flavor, and those flavor we like that flavor not because we like coffee. We like that flavor because there's other things like it that we're adapted to. We're adapted to rooty, dark things that have a lot of mineral content, slightly acidic things that digest really well. Coffee is just like extra dark, extra acidic, and so we're just like, so good. It's crazy. Human history, we don't know what we've been doing for the last 10,000 years. Well, actually, we kind of know that. Before 10,000 years, before agriculture, we didn't really know exactly what we were doing. But there's certain things that do work for people, and that is like grounded, salty broths and teas and elixirs where we just combine water with super nutritious substances, and that should be the heart of our diet. Like, food is always going to change. We're always going to switch up our calorie sources, and our body's needs will change, but as long as we have a staple amount of these super hydrating, slightly salty, herbological drinks and soups, then we have that are so calming and soothing to the digestive system, then we have a really good basis, a universal approach towards amending our diet and strategically going onward with our life in a way where our health is boosting our ability to be passionate and have a mission here on Earth. Here we go. Zoom. Alright, just blended this. I blended it lightly because the stevia really creates a head, a frothiness. So I usually add stevia last. If you add stevia first, you're going to have to wait maybe a couple minutes or more for the head to slowly dissolve back down. Now, I haven't even tried this yet, but I just know that it's going to be the bomb. So good. I'm going to go work out now. You could go a little bit easier on the shilajit if you were going to give this to someone who's new to herbs and you didn't want to shock them too much with empowering bitters. You could easily take any of 1 or 2 or 3 of these ingredients out. You could just do like mushroom immunity and that's it, and it would already taste like coffee. You could add maca, and of course you'd still want a little sea salt and stevia, but mix and match. Never make the same elixir twice. Always change it. Don't measure things exactly unless you want to. But you notice that I didn't, because it doesn't really matter in the case of an elixir. There's certain like dry foods and where you might need to be exact to make the recipe come out. But when it comes to elixirs, just have so much fun with it and change it. I mean, you could I could make this and drink like half of this drink, and then like an hour later, I'm like, you know what, I'm craving something slightly different. I'm going to add to this and then blend the rest of it back up. Whatever you want. If you have family, then definitely have fun with your spouse, your kids with this kind of thing. Kind of make a little ceremony so that eating healthy is not a chore. Eating healthy is a fun bonding experience, and that's what we all need. Eating healthy should not be something that you're trying to push onto your family and friends. Eating healthy is something that you attract people too, because you're having such a glowing time doing it. So it's so important. Things I've learned over the years. I've definitely like offended people just by being like the harsh, strict purist. And nowadays I don't even care. When someone's like eating an impure thing, I'm just like, yeah, thank God they're not like eating too pure of stuff and like becoming orthorexic. So look that word up. And it's time to have just the best times ever. Gosh, it looks like root beer, actually. Has a little bit of a root beer flavor. So good. Yeah.